You shouldn't have touched anything from that basement.
This is the Horrible Film School. Take a seat, rip open those trapper keepers. My name is Chris Purdy, and I'm here with Mr. Ryan Hootie.
What's up, fellas? It's time to pull that flesh-covered book off the shelf again.
Oh, he's going to say that fleshlight. That would have been fucking awesome. And the big bro, Mr. Nasty, the Abomination himself, my brother, Joey.
What up, y'all? Who's ready to get their soul sucked?
Today's assignment 2013's Evil Dead. The lesson, fear what you will become. And this was a selection by the lovely Mr. Hootie, so I will let you take the lead, my man.
Yeah, before we hop in, I know our last episode that everybody has already listened to, already downloaded,
Millions of people have already done it.
Millions of people. We've seen the data. We know the truth.
Millions and millions!
Cropsey was a New Jersey icon, and two of the three Bulls here just saw a Jersey icon in Bruce Springsteen this past Saturday.
Shout out to Cropsey.
So, Evil Dead 2013. A movie that I watched. Oh, I forgot to show you. Right here. This is the ticket stub. If you can see that right there.
Oh, Evil Dead ticket stub for
right there.
April the 5th, 2013. Back with tickets for $9.50.
That's the day that it came out.
Back in my day, movies cost a nickel.
I'm assuming that we all had one of these at one time, and, you know, like normal people threw yours away. So
I might have one hidden off somewhere.
Yeah, Chris has got a whole fucking box of
I got a
somewhere.
shadow box.
You might still have
right
yours. But I remember watching this film and hating it because the lack of Bruce. And before this, there was no Ash vs. Evil Dead, the Star series. So I yearned for that Bruce Campbell presence.
The lack of Bruce. You talking about Bruce Springsteen?
So many Bruce.
Is that why we talked about Bruce Springsteen? Was that your segue into this?
I think
Bruce
Lee
Campbell
would have been fucking great in it personally.
So many Bruces. All right, so let's hop right into it. Today's fan reviews come from IMDb. We're going to start with the negative first. Now, I did pick two reviews that came out April 6th and April 10th. So right when this thing came out, I wanted that instant reaction. So first up is Neo Space Studio 10 from April 10th, 2013. Titled, Campbell Raimi, Why? Question mark. Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, why did you endorse this crap? This movie is a great lesson on how to destroy a classic and ruin what most regard as one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Everything good about the original is taken away, and everything bad about contemporary horror movies is added in. If you're a Justin Bieber fan, or in a generation thereabouts, you should find it awesome. The rest, make sure to stay away. Can somebody please make an original, CGI-free, latex-filled, campy horror film again? It's time to, and this is the part I got confused on. I don't know, maybe look at Nigeria and Nollywood, because Hollywood is finished as far as I'm concerned. 1 out of 10 stars.
Okay, my first question is, what the fuck is going on in Nigeria right now?
They can't afford computers, so they have to use like fake goat's blood and shit. So it's like,
all real.
It has no choice to be fucking real blood.
It's all the snuff at this point.
I was
This
just cruising.
guy is so fucking stupid. I hate to use a stupid word to describe a person, but that's just stupid.
Well, hold on. He has a point with the contemporary part.
The fact that he talks about how much CGI was in this movie.
Oh yeah. That's a shit take.
Fire was the only CGI in the whole fucking movie. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a point well taken. I guess this guy, it looked so good that it had to look like it was CGI, I guess.
The production was so good that you can see the scenes of the practicality.
This movie is fantastic.
Yeah, I was just scrolling the comments and ran across somebody talking about Nigerian films.
But then again, this guy, this is 5 days after the movie drops. Maybe there's no research into how realistic and practical literally everything in this movie is. So he assumed it was CGI. I think that is just a testament to how well it was done.
This movie came out with a lot of hype before it ever hit the theaters, with headlines of this is the scariest horror movie ever made kind of stuff.
I remember that poster specifically. I think in huge block letters, it was like the scariest thing you will ever see.
Which sets it up for failure, if you ask me.
It's kind of, I mean, it's really indicative of that time. If you think about, you remember that Texas Chainsaw reboot? They kind of pitched that the same way.
This fucking time period aesthetic was terrible for horror.
We're going to the opposite side of the spectrum here, from Mama Monster 6, from April 6th, 2013, a day after the film came out, titled, "It exceeded all of my expectations. I loved it." She says, "My husband is a huge fan of the original and has been waiting for this remake for years. I was worried because there was such big hype about it, and then I went and read a couple reviews, and before we went to see it, which worried me even more. After the movie ended, my husband and I sat there speechless. I do not know how or why there are people giving this 1 and 2 stars. I'm going to assume those people think all remakes suck and go into it without even giving it a chance. There is nothing I would change about this movie. I love how they twisted the story around from the original, and most of all, it was really, really, really gory. I plan on seeing this movie at least 2 more times. I mean, you just got to. 10 out of 10 stars.
That's a highly specific rewatch. Got to be 2 more fucking times. So just no.
Gotta be.
One's not going to cut
it. So is there a definitive definition of the difference between like a reboot and a remake and a reimagining?
No, I don't think so. I think in the last 5 years with all this...
You just use those terms interchangeably.
With all this Marvel multiple timeline shit, nothing's ever really gone, everything's... It's just another universe's version of this story or some shit, so...
See, now I was calling this movie a remake up until they announced the sequel. And the sequel, has been getting hyped up. Because I think the one's coming out here next month is considered a sequel. So I guess I'm starting to call it the original's a reboot instead of a remake. Because it's rebooting the franchise, I guess. I don't know.
And that, I would say that would make sense to make it a reboot then.
Well, I did read, and this might be getting the horse in front of the cart in front of the horse here, that there was a plan for a sequel to this one directly that would involve a character from this becoming more Ash-like.
I think you're fucking up Hootie's interesting factoids by talking about this.
Killing me.
You got this? You got something like this?
I don't think so.
Oh shit!
Well, anyway, so there's a character from this survivor. I won't spoil that, but the one that survives kind of becomes more Ash-like in a sequel and actually teams up with Ash in combining those 2 trilogies into one thing. So supposedly they exist in the same universe. Or that was the original conception.
Oh, I do have that note. I apologize. But it's okay.
I figured you did. You can elaborate on it when we get to that point. Formerly being a remake, but now that there's going to be a sequel. Because I think it's been confirmed that this movie is a sequel. What is it, Evil Dead Rise?
Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise, April 21st.
Yeah, I think it goes from being a remake to a reboot.
Some of the behind-the-scenes stuff I remember checking out, Bruce essentially was the idea was to remake the first one with better effects, better acting, more budget, that type of deal. Which is kind of what they did with Evil Dead 2,
Did better acting.
Yeah,
yeah. Have you seen the first one lately?
Pause. No. The first one wasn't anything to write home about, but God, I mean,
the acting in part
if your
one.
If your goal was to get better fucking acting in this, maybe from the lead.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
The lead and the guy who looks like he's ripped right from the 80s.
Eric, yeah. Was it Eric?
God,
yeah, Eric.
What a poor
too.
soul. All right, let's jump in behind the scenes of Evil Dead 2013 with the writer and director of this film. And they're the same person. Director, Fede Alvarez. Is that right?
Fede
Alvarez.
Like Fetty Wap.
Confetti.
Fetty Wap, because everybody knows that connection.
Like
Fetty Alvarez. Is he the Mama's Kitchen song or something? Something cooking in the kitchen?
Mama's Kitchen in the
I be in the
chicken.
kitchen baking pies with my baby.
There you go.
That's it,
There
right?
you go. All right.
Pies with my
Do
baby.
you want to
Pies
go
with
my
baby.
way?
Ah!
What happened to
Fellas,
that guy?
I feel like I'm hip still, so that's...
I'm definitely
good.
in tune with those
16:38.
those 2014 beats.
So Fede Alvarez.
Love with the cocoa.
Oh,
Fede
yeah.
Alvarez.
He was in love with the cocoa.
That's probably the same guy. I have no clue.
Yeah, I've been sitting there eating fucking Cocoa Puffs singing that song and shit.
All right. Fede Alvarez also directed Don't Breathe and an upcoming untitled Alien project. Hello.
Yeah, I like Fede. He's from Uruguay. I feel like we've probably talked this to death in a few recent episodes, but a lot of these south of the border or south of America, South and Central American directors who kind of grow up on horror and then come here and remake and kind of put their own twist of things are generally pretty cool, pretty successful. It seems like they have their own styles that I seem to appreciate. Don't Breathe was fucking great, very underseen. He also saddled up with A Girl in the Spider's Web, which was part of the Lisbeth Salander Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series, but definitely not as great. Did not feature my girl, Rooney Mara, so thumbs down on that one, but I appreciate him getting the opportunity.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Don't Breathe, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. Go check it out. You'll never look at turkey basters the same again.
Dripping turkey basters.
Don't Breathe led to his success or his breakout, and he's, as Hootie said, set to direct that new Alien movie that's actually independent of past Alien films. So it's not going to be any sort of connection, no Sigourney Weaver, no fucking engineers, none of that bullshit.
So it's a reboot.
It's the same production.
Hello.
Though.
I think it's the same universe.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just independent of the rest. I know you said it doesn't have a title, but I think it's been codenamed Alien Romulus.
Romulus.
That sounds kind of cool. Don't
Definitely
know what the fuck it
sounds
means.
like a code
Sounds
name.
Star Trek.
And he also, another credit he might not be too proud of, he wrote the story for 2022's Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel on Netflix. Let's not just shower the guy with
I
praise.
saw that note, but again, all I've seen of that movie is the little poster that pops up on Netflix. So,
Oh, if he wrote the story for this thing, he is the reason I will not watch the movie.
you've seen it?
Oh no, I've read the fucking synopsis.
like the plot.
The synopsis
Plot,
makes me
gotcha.
sick to my stomach.
Okay,
It sounds fucking trash.
I watched it.
we'll get there eventually.
I hope we
20
don't.
years from now.
Okay, the writers of this film is, once again, Fede Alvarez, and apparently his brother-in-arms, I'm going to butcher this, Rodo Sayaguais.
Is this the guy co-wrote it with him, or what
He
we talking
co-wrote
about?
this, he co-wrote Don't Breathe, he co-wrote probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, him and this dude are just partners, basically.
Hootie was a Spanish major, if anybody is
He's
curious.
definitely, ace.
Yeah,
those
this is
classes.
Rodo Ruber Agarez.
Ruberando.
Rhoda, what did that say? Taco Burrito Alvarez.
Raul Jimenez. Just picking the most
Yeah, if we
random
could
shit.
just overdub Raul saying something over me talking, that'd be great.
Shout out to our native speakers. We love you.
All right, so let's hop into the behind the scenes here. I got quite a bit here. I rented this film from the library. Again, support your local libraries.
Renting.
Came with,
That's an artifact.
there you go. Had to use my library card.
Did you have to
And
go to a shelf and pick up the disc or the case?
Yeah, it's like
Damn,
yeah.
that's old school.
Did you pull up in a horse and a fucking buggy or some shit when you went to the library?
I searched which branch had it, and I walked in and looked at the DVD shelf and searched for it, picked it up, held it in my hands.
Man
and checked it
servants
out.
powdering you as you walked around with your powdered wig and your cane and your
Would you like some meat?
stockings up to your knee.
They have to go to a restricted section. It's actually the fucking Necronomicon they pick up, and inside the Necronomicon's the movie, and they have to blow off the fucking dust and shit because no one's picked it up for fucking 12
It's
years.
been 12 years, sir.
I was shocked the library had this film. This is pretty gruesome for the
What does the
library.
librarian look like? I just imagine a crone from a Harry Potter or something.
So, did they have the R-rated version or the unrated version?
I'm going to go R-rated. I didn't look at it that closely.
Okay.
Is there a difference? Is there a big difference?
Oh yeah, there's an unrated version that's got 6 minutes of extra shit.
What's the runtime for the unrated? I'm not sure which one I caught either.
Hour 36.
I think I was about an hour 30, so I might have caught the rated R.
Oh, so you guys didn't see the after credits?
I didn't see the really gross shit.
I saw the after credits.
I had one after credit sequence that was literally 5 seconds long.
Yeah, I had that.
No, you got that one or not?
I got that one.
There's one in the middle.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Oh.
But yeah, the one that we saw, I remember seeing that theatrically. That was definitely the theatrical cut that I saw.
I really like the way he, not to put the fucking cart before the horse, but I really like the way he does his credits too.
Oh, you want the initial splash?
Yeah, with that, and it's always like an event to watch, like who starred and who directed, because he has like all the in this he has the original recording from Evil Dead 1.
Yeah.
The reading of the Necronomicon and all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
Pretty
it was
dope.
really respectful of the OG.
According to reports in the press, the film used 70,000 gallons of fake blood. In an interview, Fede Alvarez said they used 50,000 gallons for the final scene alone. This is compared to the roughly 200 to 300 gallons used in the original.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're talking about when we said Bruce said this is doing the original with a budget, because that's fucking insane.
I mean, that's a lot of corn syrup.
It's raining fucking blood for like 30 minutes.
The rain's probably water and food coloring, but yeah.
That's still a lot of fucking production value, man.
I would say that 200 or 300 gallons back in the first one was made in what, 78, 79, 80, somewhere in there. Still pretty impressive though for a bunch of kids trying to make a movie. It's a lot of blood.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off that, I got a note here that said, although he has a background in CGI, director Fede Alvarez chose to go with practical effects for the film's visuals, mainly out of tribute to what Sam Raimi achieved on the very limited budget back in 1980. So he went where he chose to forego kind of his forte, which was CGI, he said at the time, as more of an ode to Sam. And I think that's obvious with that amount of blood and gore he's putting into this.
It's funny you say that, because he got this job based on a short that you can find on YouTube called Panic Alert or Panic Zone or something like that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this before the movie actually came out, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute short about some robots, and it's all animated. Or all the robots are animated, and it's really well done.
Before they moved on to make Ash vs. Evil Dead, the Star series, Sam Raimi, Rob Tappert, and Bruce Campbell confirmed that this film is set in the same continuity as the original trilogy, and their plans was to make Army of Darkness 2, a sequel to this film starring Mia, and one final film with Ash and Mia teaming up to fight Deadites. Since Universal Studios passed on Army of Darkness 2, with Ash's adventures now being told in Ash vs. Evil Dead, and the sequel to this film appearing to be shelved, it's doubtful this team will ever happen.
So we can blame stars for this shit.
No, I think Universal made the right decision. I think that would have been a fucking disaster.
Oh my God, Joey.
This movie had no comedic value whatsoever, and Army Darkness, that's all that was.
It's true. It wouldn't have been as
These
dark.
two characters wouldn't have meshed very well, I don't think.
I think the point would be, you would think you would use the same director to do Army of Darkness 2, right? He would bring his own
Oh, that would have been Sam
spin
Raimi.
to it. I don't know.
There's no fucking way they would have let.
You don't think you would let someone else do that?
No way.
I would hope
and
not.
have his name or have Army of Darkness 2 as the title? Fuck no.
Well, if that's the case, I would have faith that Sam Raimi could spin it into what he wants it to be, because he's the fucking creator of all this shit.
Oh, I'm sure it would have been what he wanted to be, but in terms of it being a good movie, I doubt it. I just don't see the two being able to mesh. And one of the characters is going to have to suffer in terms of like.
Well, we all know who
quality.
that would be.
Well, I mean, he's obviously the elder statesman. He would probably take the lead, you would assume, right? She would be secondary.
I could see Ash making fun of her drug addiction throughout the movie.
But yeah, I guess you're right. She would need a serious chill pill of a second movie to get to that bridge.
Next up, interesting factoid that just makes no sense to me, and talk about just ruining a franchise. Back when the remake was originally in development, in 2003, I'm assuming before Sam or Bruce or Robert Tappert even talked about it, Ashton Kutcher and Marlon Wayans were considered for the role of Ash Williams.
So that you would have preferred that, who you said that you were You were timid about this because of the lack of Ash Williams. So, would you rather have that shit?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, I should shut my mouth.
Did you want him recasted, or what did you want out of another?
I just wanted Bruce in it. Like we got Ash vs. Evil Dead, so we saw that it was possible.
Movies, man.
That's fine. Rocky got 12. I'm just saying, you know.
And how many of them are good?
All of them, Chris. Even the fifth one. Okay.
I got one more little bit here I thought was kind of interesting. Somebody we actually talked about before, Diablo Cody, polished and quote-unquote Americanized the screenplay while remaining uncredited. Fede Alvarez and Rodo Sayagois are not native English speakers, so their dialogue needed some touching up in the screenplay. I thought that was kind of interesting. Of course, we have her on the pod from Jennifer's Body. Didn't feel like it required someone of her caliber, I guess is what
you know what it was? Seeing as how her first name's Diablo, Fede Alvarez felt comfortable using somebody with a familiar name.
You thought he had contacted the American devil.
You guys covered pretty much everything I had. I had one for myself. It was like a cute little thing.
Oh, it's cute.
Gillian Jacobs auditioned for the role of Mia, but wasn't cast. The only reason I mentioned this is because Jacobs stars in the show Love. It's a show on Netflix made or created by Judd Apatow. She owns a cat on the show named Grandpa. And the dog in this movie is named Grandpa too. It's the only times I've ever heard of a movie or show where somebody had an animal named Grandpa.
I wonder if that's the Diablo Cody touch right there. She's like, we can't be calling the dog fucking dog. We got to call him Grandpa.
Nice.
Her bit of comedy, her levity.
Does anyone have
with the guy with that voice that you like? What's his name? Who's the male lead in that show?
Oh fuck! I can't think of his name. I know he's got
a
fucking
very
nose.
specific fucking voice.
Yeah, I can't think of his fucking name, but I think he's a writer on that show too.
Yeah, I remember him like he was blowing up when that show was coming out. I haven't heard from him since.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck he's on now. I ain't got a clue.
Yeah,
I just love that show. That show's great.
Does anyone have the tagline for this film?
I chose the secondary tagline for the lesson: "Fear what you will become." Because I think the initial one was just like the scariest movie you will ever see.
Oh, I have the original one, but yours is much better.
What do you have?
The most terrifying film you will ever experience.
Yeah, so I skipped over that.
That is god awful.
Fear what you will become. That's bad.
Can we dissect that? Did anybody think this movie was scary?
I would say frightening. I'll give it that. What's scary though, for the three of us?
Shocking more than anything.
Not something I want somebody to walk in who's not into this stuff and see. Not quite the Terrifier level, but
yeah,
right there above the average horror movie, I would say.
I would make an argument this shit is more of an action movie than it is a horror movie.
I would say I got somewhat terrified in a couple spots of this film. Let's hop in and find out where we got frightened at.
Don't do it, you little bitch. Don't cut it off. Fuck you.
The film opens with a young woman walking in a deep forest, bleeding, and she gets captured by two good old boy rednecks. She then has a potato sack taken from her head and to reveal her own father standing in front of her, surrounded by the cast of The Hills Have Eyes. She has killed her own mother, apparently, while being possessed, and just before Daddy strikes the match to set her aflame, she lets him know that she will rip his fucking soul out. He uses the boomstick for good measure.
Title card. What a great fucking intro, man.
It was fantastic.
Oh, you think it was great?
Yes.
I thought it was great.
Dude, I'm the total other fucking end of the spectrum.
Do you remember watching this shit in a theater, though? Like, we didn't know what the fuck was going on.
No, I do not remember this movie at all in the theaters.
This was such a, like, what the fuck is going on here type of moment, you know?
I feel like because we were the age we were when we saw it in theaters, it's different than watching it now.
We've also been desensitized to horror movies now after this is our 47th.
You didn't think
After making
you
a
didn't think
true
her
habit out of it,
lines
yes.
were you didn't think her lines were like corny as fuck?
But you got to put stuff in the Evil Dead universe. All the lines are kind of corny. Like everything Ash Williams says is kind of,
I'll swallow your filthy soul. That kind of shit.
No, she's sitting there literally screaming, "Motherfucker!" Like when she's being lit on fire. She doesn't like say any of the comedic shit from the original series at all.
well, that's true. Yeah. Fatty definitely wanted to make it more serious.
Like it feel like it's very lazily like written the dialogue, and I guess this could be the Diablo Cody
Here we go, Diablo.
aspect of it.
This could be like the language disconnect we were talking about. But again, she's not on set directing these actors either. So, like, if he's getting the emotion he wants out of these people being a non-native English speaker, he might just be content with what he captures in camera versus on the mics, you know?
Like I can see enjoying the intro from the perspective of, hey, it's setting the tone early. It's letting us know we're in for a fucking overload, you know, of violence and, you know, gore and stuff. But in my opinion, it gives us way too much, way too soon. See, this is why I think the movie's more of an action movie than a horror movie. This is a big reason for that.
That is how an action movie would usually
It's
start.
just straight into the action.
Yeah, it definitely has a pacing to it that's...
Oh, I love the pacing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's very brisk. Like, this movie felt like it's not something I had to break up into parts. It just flowed right through you. So, I mean, how much time did we spend with Art in that last movie? 2.5 hours? Like, I appreciate just getting to it here.
We had 4 hours of art.
Man, so
We're going to
glad.
have 4 more when that third one comes out.
Oh,
Who's going
I'm
to love
ready.
it? God. Let's just go ahead and this is an early pitch. When the third one comes out, we redo the first two. What do you say?
Fantastic.
Harry?
Let's just.
Oh,
God.
fuck yes. I think Hootie should host both of them.
Can we just dress up as Art and walk around creepy and wave people and shit?
Me and Joy are like an Art character. We don't speak the whole time. It's just fucking Hootie asking us questions.
What do you fellas
staring
think?
blankly at us.
Next up, after the title credit sequence, a group of young teens show up in a gorgeous Jeep Wrangler TJ to the rundown cabin in the woods. This cabin is run down.
Yeah, I did think it was kind of comically run down because they talk about how we haven't been here in a couple of years. So I was like, looks like nobody's been here about 100 fucking years.
No shit.
It's bad.
You know, like when you're walking in the woods, this might be like a small town southern thing. You're walking in the woods with your family and you see those old, like, tobacco barns or something. That's what this looked like.
How often are y'all walking in the woods with your family?
I did that a lot as
Where
a
y'all
kid.
going to go sacrifice
that
an
last
animal?
Every night at about 8:30, all the Hooties get butt naked and walk through the woods.
Y'all going
in
down
the
to the
moonlight.
river to fucking bathe or some shit? What's going on?
Here we meet Olivia, Eric, David, and his girlfriend, Natalie. Let's run through this very short call out here. David, played by Shiloh Fernandez, who was on Drake and Josh, and a new movie with Nick Cage called The Old Way.
The dude has surprisingly got a lot of acting credits.
He does not anything
Surprisingly.
of value, but yes.
He's the lead here, right? No, maybe not.
And he was on Drake and Josh.
He is co-lead.
Pretty
would say
damn
co-lead.
close.
The movie focuses on him for a good portion of it.
He's the worst part of the film for me, hands down. His acting's
He gets
fine.
he
His
gets a lot
character.
of screen time. I think his acting is mediocre
Yeah.
at best, but it's not really important. It's a horror movie. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But I think his presence doesn't really add much to the movie.
Next up, Olivia, played by Jessica Lucas, who was in, you know it, Halloween Town 2, and Big Mama's House, like father, like son.
How many goddamn
That's
Big
two
Mama's
shows
House
in a row.
references?
Of all the
We've got a Big
things you could
Mama's
have
House.
fucking picked of her, she was in Cloverfield. That's pretty much all you need.
I left
Oh,
that
Joe,
meat on the bone for you,
I don't
Joy.
think you heard the Big Mama's House.
I didn't. Did he say Big Mama's House 2?
I think it might be
like
3.
son.
I think it might be 3. I'm not sure.
Damn, how canonical is the Big Mama's House franchise? Spin-off pod, just Big Mama's House.
Oh,
episode.
child!
I just saw
I don't
that
know if I-
and thought to myself, how many times has Hollywood made a black man dress up like an old grandma? Eddie Murphy did it. Tyler Perry does it. Martin Lawrence does it.
It's fucking bankable, apparently.
Apparently,
Who's
it is.
watching that shit?
I watched the first one, but anyway, we're moving
10-year-old
on.
white boys. That's who you're entertaining.
Who are you this Halloween, Hootie? I'm going to Big Mama's house.
The whole fucking house.
Oh, Lord.
I gotta get the damn Martin Lawrence wig on Amazon.
Oh shit! All right, next up, Natalie played.
Wait,
by...
who did it better? No, who did it better? Robert Williams or Martin Lawrence?
As being a woman. I mean, Mrs. Doubtfire is Mrs. Doubtfire is unbeatable.
Yeah.
Doubtfire, legendary.
I think in an arm wrestling contest, Martin Lawrence might have him because he's short and like stout. You know.
We can take all that we just said, and now we understand why Dave Chappelle went to Africa when they asked him to dress up like a fucking woman. He's like, I ain't doing that shit.
I've had enough. Comedy Central, fuck you.
Next up, Natalie, played by Elizabeth Blackmore, who was in Shameless and Supernatural.
2 shows a lot of people have told me to watch and never have. Probably never will.
People love Supernatural. They had like 20 seasons. So
Apparently, she was so bad. She had an entire backstory in this movie and way more dialogue than what she has, and they had to cut all of it.
Yeah, she's the only actor I would call out as not being up to par.
She was kind of useless in the film.
She was literally fucking meat for the meat grinder.
She has some beautiful eyes. I'll give her that.
She's got some beautiful other parts.
We'll get there.
Her brain, maybe?
Next up is
Shit,
Eric.
she gave good brain.
Next up is
What are
Eric.
you, fucking 2003's rapper?
Next up is Eric, played by Lou Taylor Pucci. And I didn't find anything of note from this man. So if you
Low-key MVP right there.
That's so weird. I got a note here. How's this dude not landed more notable work?
I thought he was great.
Like, he's far and away the best male actor. Not that he's got much fucking competition. In this movie, he's like right there neck and neck with Mia, in my opinion. Or Jane Levy.
Eric walks around the back of the cabin to find his sister Mia sporting a Michigan State sweatshirt and sitting on top of what, Joy?
Sitting on top of a Oldsmobile Delta 88. Go green, go white, Michigan State, Tom Izzo, oorah.
Hoorah.
I think that was like the fucking Marines or some shit.
That is the Marines,
Probably.
but we'll call them out.
The few,
Yeah, she's
the
sitting on
proud.
she's sitting on a model a vehicle that's pretty much in every one of Sam Raimi's movies. I don't think it's the exact same model. I think I read somewhere it was like a 74. And the original was like a 73 or something like that. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't dive so much into the goddamn Evil Dead lore, Hootie.
It's fine.
Maybe you can educate us on that.
It's fine. You were correct.
She's sitting there. She's sitting there in the car. A cool little nod to the original, as well as the MSU shirt.
Mia, played by Jane Levy, was also in Don't Breathe, and she apparently had a series on Amazon, I think I remember that correctly, called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. It's been canceled, but...
No idea. I figured she would have been in more stuff, honestly, coming off those 2. But she's been kind of dormant ever since Don't Breathe, which was fucking 7 years ago.
2016.
Yeah. She's great in this. She's great in that, so...
You know, for a movie to be called Don't Breathe, they breathe an awful lot in that movie, right? A lot of breathing
going on. They did a sequel recently, right?
Yeah, apparently it's bad.
Based on the characters of, but not the same story, really.
Eric gifts Mia the magnifying glass necklace that Ash gave his girlfriend Linda in the first film, and Mia throws her drugs down into the well to go cold turkey over the trip in his creepy cabin.
How inconsiderate is this junky ass bitch? She's throwing a fucking ounce of heroin down into the goddamn well they gotta drink out of for the next 4 days.
That is a good point, actually. Because where did they get water? I'm assuming they brought their own water, but
I don't know. I don't know how the ingesting of a drug like that works, but would it really contaminate?
It's heroin.
The water?
I mean, it's heroin.
But people flush worse things down like public toilets, and we all still drink the fucking water.
This isn't a public toilet.
The wastewater treatment
This
plant.
is a well where your
I'm just
water
saying,
comes from.
It's so diluted in all that water. It's the ground. You know, there's a lot of fucking water down there.
How deep is the well? You know, we got different tangibles here, Chris.
Y'all getting in the fucking weeds, man.
As soon as she dumped that shit in there, she ran to the damn kitchen tap and just stuck a fucking tongue up on it and was just trying her best to get some of that fucking heroin.
I don't think that's how gravity works.
Just,
She just dived in the well. That would be badass.
Guys,
End of the movie.
We learned that Mia and David's parents own the cabin, although it has gone to shit, to put it lightly. The trip is turning out to be an intervention, so Mia finally gets clean and sober. We all remember Flint last year when she OD'd. Shout out Flint, Michigan, right there.
Talking about contaminated water.
No wonder the damn water in Flint, Michigan was fucked up. Her ass is dropping fat stacks of fentanyl in the goddamn water supply there, too.
This is a documentary.
This bitch is causing a goddamn a pandemic across the country with this shit.
It's just trying to get sober, Joey.
Just light it on fire. You just ruining people's lives, Mia.
Give it to Grandpa. Shit.
So you're telling me you don't appreciate them bringing the drug addiction angle into the story?
No. It was great. It actually gave them a reason to get to the cabin or stay at the cabin.
It makes the movie about something, which I think is kind of what makes this interesting for me.
They actually make a promise to themselves that they're not going to let her leave regardless.
No matter what she says.
So no matter what happens, no matter what she says. So it actually gives it an angle.
Yeah, elements of the plot that kind of tie back to that are cool. But I mean, I guess thematically what happens in the story, we can wrap back around to it, but I think this is well crafted. It was well thought out. It's definitely not just let's remake some shit.
If we are ever at a cabin, and I'm becoming sober, and I say no matter what we have to stay here, and we start chopping each other up, y'all can freely go.
What are you addicted to that we got to get you to kick? Hair care products?
Fucking podcasts.
I mean, the hair is looking pretty good these days.
Joey, Hootie's over here trying to suck my dick for a ride to the store, man. Should we leave?
I got a 24-pack of Payday. I got a 24-pack of Payday candy bars sitting over here. If somebody were to try to get me to kick fucking candy bars, I'd be ever gnawing on my leg to get that hit.
There's a going right down the well, Joey. Right down the well.
You gotta go to the mountains, boys. Let's do it.
My ass is going spelunking.
Later that night, Olivia is complaining about a terrible smell, and the family dog leads them into the fruit cellar. Looks an awful lot like Joey's fruit cellar. I had a note here.
Oh, shit.
Legendary.
There we go. Eric and David find the room where the witch was burned, along with the Necronomicon, wrapped in a garbage bag and barbed wire. They also grab the boomstick, baby.
This didn't bother y'all?
What, the cats and shit down there?
As soon as they showed the pillar or the support beam the witch was tied to,
the little flash.
They had to show a fucking flashback.
Yeah, I didn't really
15 minutes into the movie.
Again,
I'm telling you,
ADD audiences.
No one's got
Goldfish.
fucking attention spans. They have to remind you what's going on. That shit it bugged the shit out of me. I feel like that happens a lot in contemporary horror movies from this time period.
I had a big question here, and I know it's a horror movie, and we shouldn't get too far down a rabbit hole, even though we've already went down into the well. If their parents owned this cabin, did they never walk into this room, or have they never been here before, or what's going on?
I thought they said they hadn't been there in 5 years or something like that.
I had the impression that the shooting we saw at the beginning happened in between the last time anybody from their family was there and today. 2 years ago, this happened.
They were dressed in 70s clothing. That's why I got confused.
But again, why? Damn! Now you're making me unravel it.
There
are recent pictures of the characters in the fucking cabin.
Yes, there is.
I don't think it's recent though.
They look.
I think it's from back when they were in high school.
They're the same height, weight.
Because they make a note to talk about it here in a few of how their mom went into some mental institution.
Yeah.
All right, Mia and David are brothers and sisters.
Brother and sister, yes.
Brother and sister. And their
Fucking
mom.
brothers.
Pronouns, Joy.
And their mom was, she was crazy as fuck. Batshit crazy. They put her in an institution, all this other shit. And David had, moved away. He wasn't even involved with the family anymore. I feel like this is, years later.
Okay.
I feel like this is an estranged family.
Yeah, if we mess with this chronology, we're going to just destroy this whole fucking movie.
Eric, being a nosy ass, opens the Necronomicon. And, of course, does what you have to do. Begins to read the words out loud. Side note, the book looks incredible.
It looks fantastic. I wanted the whole fucking movie of just him and this book, man. Going on fucking adventures together. Because he treats this thing with so much fucking care. Yeah. He made me want to read it.
I don't know why Hootie here says he's a nosy ass. The man is he's a man of science.
They
talk about early in the he has the glasses, but they say that he's a high school science teacher, I think. So he's very curious, has a curious mind.
just don't know if I would grab a book in garbage bag and barbed wire and want to read it.
Who the fuck reads out loud? What grown-ass man sits alone and reads out loud?
If I really want to remember something, I'll read it out loud.
Oh, shit.
It helps. It helps me remember certain things.
Or what are those things you plan to repeat later or something? Like, what's your reference? You're like reading a novel, you read it out loud?
Not a novel, but if I'm reading, like, the calories on my paydays and shit like that,
okay.
I would read the number out loud.
Because you want to hear it.
Yeah, I can process that number and it'll be in my brain.
It's like an auditory memory at that point.
Locked in.
Yeah, I get that. But he's going to have this fucking book forever. You could tell this dude's in love with this book.
The book's fucking fascinating.
Yeah.
If you pulled a book out of a basement that was wrapped in barbed fucking wire
and a garbage bag,
you wouldn't be curious. Inside of a garbage bag, you wouldn't be curious. Next to a shotgun with a bunch of shells and what looked to be a burnt up post. I mean, you wouldn't be the least bit curious.
I just love the way they designed the book. It's so tactile.
Oh, I would love to have the book.
Like
the book is fantastic.
Something about just watching the way he like rips it open, like the way the garbage bag rips and he clips the barbed wire. It's just so tactile. It's like I could feel it in my own hands or something. I really like the way they handled it.
What makes the book even more interesting is the fact it has a lot of like notes in English telling you like someone has possessed this book before, somebody has went through this whole process enough to where they're educated about everything in this book. So it's pretty cool.
It's almost like Ash has already been there.
I don't feel like Ash would have took the time to write that
He
shit.
loves to write shit down.
He tried to burn the fucker. I mean, he did not care for this fucking book whatsoever.
Ash was in panic mode the whole fucking trilogy.
That he was.
Do you guys remember him from the first one? He was Ash Lee back then. He was not Ash.
Back in the day. Mia freaks out, grabs the station wagon, and drives that bad boy right into a water-filled ditch. The Deadite spirit chases her into a deep thicket of tree vines, where she is then raped and infected by the spirit. It's a very graphic scene.
The way this played out, all right, we'll call this the tree, because this wasn't like a rape. This was a tree impregnation versus the actual tree rape from the original.
Oh, yeah, where the one little like branch just slid up and came back out.
One little branch, the 45 branches that was holding it down.
That's probably a soft way to put it, the impregnation of the forest. There you go.
Like this is like showing how, I guess, they alluded to in the first one of how Ash's sister in the first one came to be possessed, as opposed to this movie where they showed you directly how Mia came to be possessed.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I actually like this more than the scene from the first movie.
Yeah, it's definitely played with more terror, more horror than that one. That one was more just like creepy, you know.
It seemed like it actually had a purpose, whereas the first movie was just like shock value. It was shocking because it's like everybody talks about it.
I will say that the woman in white with the yellow eyes was very effective. It was very creepy to me.
I thought the staging of the car wreck was fantastic too. Like you were saying, the shit looks, as all practical, it all looks so good. It's like a fucking action movie because that's the only places you get these kind of set pieces that look that fucking good. They drove a car into the water and the actors crawled out of it. It was fucking awesome.
All right, I don't know if this is like nitpicking, I guess it is, but I hate how when she gets out of the car, she's up to her fucking tits in water.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
when
deep.
you actually see it and it's panned away, like the hood is barely under the water. So it just didn't make much sense for like the water to be so high on her body. But at the same time, that's nitpicking.
It's just a deep hole in the ditch, man. You know, deep old catfish hole.
Shmuh, that's a fucking pond, brother. There ain't no hole.
Is it just rainwater at this point? It's been raining.
This bitch is in a lake.
I don't think we've talked about how much it's raining in this fucking movie.
It's raining a lot.
This movie is wetter than the fucking Avatar Way of Water.
Oh yeah, all this rain plays into a few scenes here in a second.
I didn't have a note on it, but the environment looked like northwest United States or like Vancouver. It's not Tennessee where the original was.
You mean like a Pacific Northwest type of weather, you mean?
Pacific Northwest, there you go, yeah.
Well, they filmed a majority of this in like New Zealand, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. Kind of got that same kind of green. Everything's so green.
I think that
and wet.
they did do some in the States, but I think a majority of it was in New Zealand.
They do love New Zealand.
I feel like the film industry is 100% responsible for people visiting fucking New Zealand. So that's the only reason I want to go, because of the Lord of the Rings.
I think I saw Frodo fucking Baggins walking around with a goddamn ring out there.
If I can't carry
it
it
to the woods,
I'll carry you.
Back at the cabin, David goes to check on Mia in her room, and she whispers for some reason about something in the woods coming to get them. I will say, Mia's acting here was pretty rough. I did not enjoy this.
No. When she's in the bunk bed,
The whispering scene, man, I thought it was fucking
I
great.
fucking love that.
The sound design is great in that scene.
That was so good.
Because she's whispering, but it's so
The thing about this character, this Mia character, she plays what feels like 6 or 7 roles by the end of this movie.
She pretty much
Like,
plays
her
every
range-
character from an Evil Dead movie herself.
Yeah, it's fantastic, I think.
She's like the
That's
victim.
personal opinion.
She's like, we'll see, like the possessed. She's the fucking hero. She does it all.
David finds Grandpa, the family dog, dead in the woodshed. This got me in all the feels.
That dog got fucked.
He got real messed up.
All right, now the flashback with the dog that's a flashback we needed to see.
I don't want to see somebody abuse a fucking dog.
No, I mean, we need to see it in terms of knowing how it got there. I'm just comparing it to the flashback of the
I
fucking...
got you. The one we
whore on
actually
the
see, you're
goddamn
saying.
burning,
with Mia, I got you. Was that actually happened, or was that David's natural
that happened.
inclination, you think?
Yeah. It had to have. I mean, there's a fucking hammer sitting there covered in
I know,
blood.
but is that what you think he thinks that's what happened? Or like,
Who do we
was
think?
that-
Natalie's out there mad as hell. She's ignoring him.
Maybe that fucking
Or
dog wouldn't
she's
shut
getting
up.
ignored by him.
Somebody trying to take a nap, fucking dog won't shut up. You know how it is, Hody.
I don't know how it is.
Two dogs. Who
Don't you put that on me. David realizes that Mia killed the dog with a hammer and breaks into the bathroom to find her body burned from boiling hot water in the shower.
How hot is that fucking shower, dog?
That's cooking.
Shit, you can see, like, she turns the hot water so hot, it catches the fucking water heater on fire. This bathroom is laid out super weird. The fucking water heater is in the shower. Did anybody else notice that?
That might be like something happened back in the day. I'm not sure.
Think about back in the fucking day. You couldn't even make the shower too damn hot; it would kill you. It's like we just don't know how nice we have it now.
The makeup right here is so good, man.
Yeah, it pops.
Like her face literally like tearing apart from the heat.
It cracks.
It's so good.
Eric realizes that everything in the Necronomicon is coming to fruition, but tells no one, of course. Mia walks into the living room with the boomstick, and the evil spirit breaks down the front door. She informs them that they are all going to die tonight. Mia jumps on Olivia and pukes blood, or whatever that was, all over her body, and then rolls into the fruit cellar, where Eric locks her in. She rolls smoothly into the fruit cellar.
Smooth, practical.
Very
effects.
very acrobatic.
Somebody took that bump. That was real.
Yeah.
The whole throwing up stuff was practical. But yeah, Mia throwing up on her friend's face. Damn, Mia must have gotten a hold of a bad burger from Mickey D's. She should have went south of the border and got her hands on a double steak grilled cheese burrito instead. Available right now for a limited time at your local Taco Bell.
Oh, how about that?
Chris, can you insert
Ding.
a Taco Bell ding right here? I'm just trying to get us that fucking sponsorship one way or another.
I'm going to recommend the spicy. Personally, it adds the jalapeno. It's really nice. That was some chunky ass blood vomit. That's what I called it because I couldn't think of a good word for what comes
Definitely,
out of her.
it was very phlegm.
Seemed like it had almost
Phlegmy.
like pieces of flesh or something in it. You know, it was nasty looking.
Olivia grabs a sedative shot for Mia, but is possessed in the process, peeing all over herself. Eric goes into Olivia's room to check on her.
Yikes.
Eric goes into Olivia's room to check on her and finds her cutting her own tongue out. She then stabs him in the chest with a knife. This is the first time Eric gets stabbed or beaten.
Eric's HP is fucking through the roof. He can take a hit.
And then over and over again with the syringe.
This fucked me up, man.
So what we see here is Olivia like starting the process of cutting her face off, and what she does is take the knife, or no, in this case it's a broken piece of mirror, and she cuts through her cheek and is making her way up to her ear. Mouth is open super wide, right? Olivia knows what's up. She's just trying to make room for the new Double Down from KFC, which is only available for a few more weeks. That mouth-watering chicken-on-chicken sandwich caressing a delicious melody of bacon and mayo with 2 slices of Monterey and pepper jack cheese. It's to die for. And don't forget to bring that heat, baby, with the spicy secret sauce. It's finger-licking good.
$11.99 at your local KFC.
Wow, that was something.
Actually, like $8.99.
That's a good deal.
Combo?
We need to get like a damn code that they can put in from the podcast and like
Bulls.
take the price down a little bit.
The needle stabbing was like literally every time she went, I was like, fuck. Like a few things I react to like that in these movies, but in particular, because it's his fucking face, and then he puts his hands up and she keeps going. It's just fucking, it's so brutal. Like I was talking about like the tactile nature of the book earlier. I was listening to a podcast, and this guy talked about writing horror movies, how the way you really make an audience, quote-unquote, feel the pain that a character is feeling is by attacking their hands, their feet, or their face. Because most people associate those things with pain more than any other part of their body.
I can see that, because you should get a lot of body shots. Okay.
And I was like, you got a fucking double here. You got the face, and then you got the fucking hand.
This is probably my favorite scene of the movie, in all honesty.
It looks great.
It looks fantastic the way it plays out. In my opinion, very action sequenced. But there's so much carnage and so much. Did we talk about how he slipped and fell before she was able to pounce on him?
Oh, he fucked that back up.
Well, he fucked his back up, and it seemed very like what would happen in that situation. He slipped on a piece of her face that she had cut off and threw in the floor. This sequence is so fucking good.
A little banana peel there. Eric has to kill her with a piece of the ceramic sink to the face. Over and over.
Beats her to fucking death.
Bashes her fucking head in, bro.
Eric is being duct taped up by David and decides to tell him then that he read a passage from the Necronomicon that unleashed the evil spirit. Natalie goes into the cabin alone for water and sugar and is dragged into the fruit cellar by Mia. Joy, keep it together. Natalie.
Water and sugar. Sounds like our boy could use some sweet, sweet iced tea from McDonald's. Ba-da-da-da-da. I'm loving it.
What a day.
What
Natalie,
a fucking podcast.
Natalie wakes up to Mia licking her legs, and then she bites her hand before slicing her tongue in half with a box cutter, and then promptly shoving it into Natalie's mouth.
Her tongue, that is.
Her tongue, not the knife. Oh my god, this is some of the hottest shit I've ever seen in a fucking horror movie, dog. She's literally like grazing her thigh with her tongue before she like deep throats this damn box cutter.
The lot going on here.
For a movie with no nudity, it's got a little bit of sexiness here. Kiss me, you cunt.
Why did I chub up when she went Riley Reid on that box cutter?
I did not.
I don't know.
Like,
that's weird.
what's going on with
that's
me?
That's not a reaction that I had at all.
But I will say, coming immediately off the needle stabs to the face and hands, this was less offensive or gruesome for me. So,
boy, she was going in on that thing. Eyes was rolled back. Ugh.
That's a legendary fucking box cutter, man.
I like the effect of the I guess it was like a prosthetic tongue on her real tongue that they just sliced.
Yeah, going into this, knowing this was all practical, I was kind of looking for the seams. I could not find it with the tongue. It looked like a real fucking tongue to me.
Yeah, that was awesome. David opens the door just in time, and Mia lets him know that if he comes down to the fruit cellar, she'll make it worth his time.
Let me suck your cock, pretty boy.
David changed the cellar door just like Ash did, almost with the same shots as the first Evil Dead. Very cool.
I think this might be the moment, too. I wrote down here, brutal dialogue in that fucking basement. Your little sister's being raped in hell. Is what she tells her brother here. That's just fucking rough, dude.
That's rough. That's some more Diablo Cody.
Fuck. That's got to be an Exorcist nod.
Almost eerily similar to the one we keep seeing for Evil Dead Rise, where the moms keep saying that mom is with the maggots. Kind of the same.
She's a fucking Slipknot fan? Joy with that.
Isn't that dude
Are you ready?
Isn't that dude a writer now? What has happened?
Like a Static X reference. What the fuck was
Oh,
that?
fuck, what's that? I can't remember the song now. Oh, shit.
Snoop Dogg's fucking great. Shout out Corey Taylor, big horror buff.
Eric tries to burn the book, of course. Won't burn. He tells David that in order to make it stop, they must kill Mia. Simple enough. Meanwhile, the spirit has taken Natalie's hand, and she makes the choice to cut her own arm off with the electric meat cutter.
So in the original, she was saying cut it, right?
Actually, I have a note right here specifically referring to this. Many of the clips shown in the trailers were either not used in the movie or were altered in the film. So in the trailer, she's saying, cut it, cut it, cut it.
Yeah.
But in the movie...
You know what I feel like? It's going to be a mean-ass joke. I fucking feel like Fede Alvarez was watching a lot of Natalie's like lines and shit, and he was saying the same thing.
Cut it. Just cut it. Oh, she had something to say. Cut it.
Cut it, cut it, cut it.
But the hand looked fucking great, too. Again, this is...
Oh, dude, the fucking prosthetics and all the work and shit is so good.
And it's like obviously another allusion to Ash with the hand getting possessed.
If the actress who plays Natalie was this bad, how did she even get hired to begin with? That's just interesting.
I feel like the character, even if this was a full 2-hour movie, she would be the character with the least amount to do, right? She's literally like the fifth wheel. Because everyone else just has a direct connection to Mia other than her. She's just her boyfriend's or her brother's fuck buddy.
Shit, apparently she wasn't that bad. She's got like 17 episodes on that show, Vampire Diaries.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know if that's a good show, but...
There's so many CW call-outs on this episode.
CW shout out.
Eric and David walk into the kitchen just as Natalie's arm breaks with the last tendon holding it on.
That looked fucking gross, too.
It was
It's
awesome.
always the last tendon, you know? Like, watching her cut it, and you're like, oh, that's fine. Then you just see it dangling, and that's when you feel it, you know? You can... Ugh. As a man with a severe tendon injury in the past 12 months, I felt it.
David's like, hold on, bro. Let me get that. Don't throw that out.
Oh, shit. That's her left hand. That's the good hand.
Got a mind of its own, you know what I mean?
All right, David tells Eric it's going to be fine. And then Eric says, she just cut her arm off. Do you think everything's going to be fine? I thought that was a cool callback to Evil Dead 2 when he looks in the mirror.
We just killed their girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, that was
Does
pretty
that
cool.
sound fine to you?
Eric's the only one in this movie that's got any sense. Like, he's been saying something's wrong the entire time. Everybody else is like, hell nah, bro. She's just damn going through withdrawals. She's just seeing shit and all this other stuff. He's the only one, like, level-headed. Even though he caused this whole
But I
situation.
said, what is he the only one that's actually done?
I think his level-headedness is what got us in this situation to begin with.
Yeah. He read the
Let's
book.
read this book out loud. I'm an orator.
Eric and David figure out that they have to burn Mia. But in the meantime, Natalie is back up and at him with a nail gun. She is sending the entire clip into Eric. Once again, Eric getting destroyed before David finally takes her down. Natalie beats David with a crowbar and then begins working on poor Eric again until David blows her arm off with the boomstick and took his sweet-ass fucking time doing so.
This magical fucking nail gun that shoots goddamn nails minus an air compressor. Yeah, this thing's very impressive.
It could be battery-powered. Now, how the battery was charged, I'm not sure. But
This is some fucking pawn shop, Home Depot talk here that I'm just going to abstain from.
there were some long-ass nails, too, Joey.
Those are some long-ass, powerful nails.
All right, I'm
Ain't
taking
no
my
way a
headphones
damn...
off. I'm done.
Ain't no way a fucking nail gun's gonna do that unless it's like pneumatically powered. Yeah, this scene's fantastic, man. She doesn't just shoot this guy 3 times, 4 times. She shoots this guy maybe 15 times.
It's like a fucking assault rifle.
Oh,
It's legit.
my God.
Jesus Christ.
She hits David 3 times, and he's fucking hollering like a stuck pig. Eric gets shot 15 fucking times all over his body. This man's still holding on.
He's just
He got
trying to
heals
get
or
there.
some shit, man. Maybe those needles like recharged his ass or something. Put his HP back up.
And he just keeps saying, like, I'm fine. I'm fine. David, I'm fine.
Like he's got his head bashed in already at this fucking point. He's still fucking going.
I just put something together that I feel like a moron. In the Evil Dead game, that's the reason why one of the weapons used is a nail gun. There you go.
There it is.
Yes.
That is.
Natalie dies from blood loss. And Eric,
Wait. Sorry.
What?
Did we talk about him getting hit with the crowbar yet?
Yeah.
He just mentioned it, yeah.
Holy shit. Did we talk about him getting his hand hit with the crowbar?
Oh, fuck. I forgot the hand. Again, with the hand.
Don't forget the fucking hand. That's probably the best, like, gore in the entire movie.
It's pretty
The hand splitter, right?
She hits him in the hand, and it splits his fucking hand down the middle. And you can see the digits, like, hanging off the side of his hand.
So much good effects.
It looks like he's doing the Spock thing, but he's doing it with, like, a 3-foot gap between
He's
his
really,
fingers.
really about fucking peace.
Really about it.
But again, with the fucking hands, man. I'm telling you, those feel so much worse. It's crazy.
What do you think feels worse, that or the pencil from the first one? The pencil in the foot. Like, in your brain, like, picture that
The
scene.
hand.
Which one hurts?
Still the
Which one
hand.
hurts you more to see?
Probably
I think it's the fucking... No, I think it's the pencil in the foot.
It's
The
pretty
hand
close.
just feels more personal to me, you know?
The way she digs that fucking pencil in and just rings it around in a circle.
Yeah, it's gross. Right in the
That-
fucking Achilles.
Both of
too.
them are fucking, they you feel it,
Yeah.
Natalie dies from blood loss, and Eric is going loopy due to his blood loss. David begins to cover the cabin in gasoline, with Mia still in the fruit cellar, but has a change of heart. Thanks to an old nursery rhyme, Mia begins to spew. He decides to grab the chainsaw from the woodshed and a car battery pack in order to perform a live burial. David straps up, goes into the fruit cellar, which now contains a few feet of water. How? I had a note there.
I think the rain's overflowing at this point.
Oh, it's been raining for like an entire night.
Yeah, I'm guessing it crossed some barrier and flooding the basement.
I don't know if you talked about it earlier, but when Mia was burned in the shower, they tried to take her to a hospital, and they were unable to cross the river because at this point the river that they had crossed to get into the campground, I guess is what you call it, it literally flooded. Like, you can't get across it at all. So it's a lot of water.
It's true. It's a good point. Okay. The director came out about this part and said that the water was added as an homage to the Army of Darkness pit that Ash falls into.
Another homage right here is the montage of all the stuff being put together.
Yeah.
The whole, like, defibrillator, the homemade defibrillator and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much an Evil Dead or an Army of Darkness montage type of thing. Like when he's strapping up the chainsaw and shit.
Groovy.
If only if David could have said woodshed. That'd be great.
You gotta turn your head real quick though. Woodshed.
Mia shows up with her trusty box cutter, kicks David's ass, and of course, Eric has to save the day yet again. He knocks Mia out, and then he finally dies. David buries Mia's body by the burning tree and waits for her heart to stop, then digs her back up and brings her back to life with a trusty car battery.
Yeah, we learned a little bit earlier in the movie upon this our boy Eric doing his due diligence, his research into how to defeat the presence. The have they even called them Deadites up to this point?
No.
No, I don't think they ever do they?
But yeah, apparently he discovers in the book while reading through it, there's 3 ways to defeat the spirit as it possesses a person: by fire, by dismemberment, or by a live burial. So that's the whole reason behind this segment. The dialogue that Mia has with David while he's burying her.
It's funny.
Where while she's possessed, it's fucking fantastic.
Why do you hate me, David? Just fucking straight face while he's throwing dirt on her.
I think she says something along the lines of your mom's in hell, like burning in hell or some shit, and that's where he's going to end up.
Yeah. Mia's fantastic.
Yeah, I just love the delivery here. It's definitely like homage to almost the Army of Darkness level of when it got kind of comedic with the Deadites being so fucking quippy.
Evil Ash. Yeah.
You know who she looks like a majority of this movie?
Who?
Linda Blair.
She reminds me of Helena Bonham
From The
Carter
Exorcist?
in this movie.
I'll just
That too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking wild? There's definitely some Exorcist in here, kind of with like the line I was talking about earlier about
I killed Sirius Black.
your sister being raped in hell. Like it's definitely a your mother sucks cocks in hell type of situation. So shout out to what is probably undoubtedly the best horror movie ever made.
And to whatever fast food restaurant Joy chooses next. David goes inside to get the keys to his Jeep Wrangler. and is greeted with a knife to the throat from his pal Eric. He tells Mia to get out and promptly burns the cabin to the ground with himself inside.
So not only is Eric the most efficient living human being, he's also the most efficient killer of the Deadites. He just fucking one-hits him.
Yeah,
No fucking around, just one-hits him. He's the best
I think
fucking Deadite.
that's our trusty box cutter too, isn't it?
It is. It's been inside of everybody at this point.
Outside, at this point, the sky is raining blood, and the demon from hell has been resurrected and is emerging from the earth. Mia makes her way into the woodshed and grabs the trusty chainsaw. Then runs outside, cranks the chainsaw, finally, and cuts the demon's legs off. The demon turns the Jeep Wrangler onto Mia, forcing her to rip her hand off her body.
Fucking cool, man. Gross looking. Doesn't make much sense probably with the way the ground and the Jeep would have pinched her arm there. I think she could have, like it would have sank in the mud and she could have probably just flipped it out. But
Yeah, it was
either way,
so much
still
mud.
cool.
I think that's why she couldn't get it out, is because of the mud. Like there wasn't like a hard surface to hold the Jeep's weight.
I think about like the T-Rex's foot going in the mud. It's so fucking deep. Can't get it out. But I thought she was going to use a chainsaw to do it. That's the only thing I would have changed in that last bit. But these last 10 minutes are fucking fierce, dude. From the time it starts raining blood to the abomination rises up out of the fucking ground.
Yeah,
So you don't feel like it kind of, that whole last sequence kind of drug on,
With her and the abomination.
and the abomination chasing her around and all that shit, compared to the rest of the movie.
Thematically, like I was talking about, I think this is kind of the point of the movie, though, right? Her fighting her addiction, isn't that kind of the point?
I mean, I guess, but I'm just talking about this whole sequence, how it played out. It just felt like it kind of dragged on to me.
I mean, it got in all like the Ash illusions I think that it possibly could have. I mean, it was less than 10 minutes. The movie is fucking brisk. I can't really complain about any of the pacing.
to nitpick here, and I don't know why you nitpick these movies, because in Army of Darkness, he shoots a double-barrel shotgun 10 times without reloading. In the woodshed, she pops off the gasoline cap to chainsaw, puts the gas in it, doesn't put it back on. Later, the cap's back on. Mia sends the chainsaw through the mouth and down the back of the demon, killing it once and for all, and sending it back to hell. The sun comes out, and Mia lives. Missing a hand, of course. The end.
But wait, there's more!
So the abomination gets split in half. What'd you think about that? That looked pretty fucking cool.
That's fucking dope.
The shot of her in front of the burning cabin holding the fucking rattling chainsaw in his fucking face.
I remember watching this in 2013 and being so upset.
I
Blood
loved it.
spraying
What's wrong with you,
everywhere, and it
Eddie?
goes up to the top of her
Because
head.
that's Ash's fucking chainsaw, Chris. Okay, I had a hard time.
Dude, he's a sexist piece of shit in 2013. He's changed a lot.
I've grown up a lot, fellas.
You know what made you so upset?
What?
This character had more growth in that first movie than Ash did. By
Without question.
far.
Yeah.
She became like the ultimate badass by the end of the movie.
Did you guys like the, I don't know if you noticed in the book, the picture of the abomination? Did you get that reference there?
Where it looks like the Evil Dead poster?
It's the quote. It's the literal poster from the first one. Just read your own.
Yeah,
with the
it's
different.
fucking dope.
That's badass.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's so cool.
All right, fellas. That wraps up 2013's Evil Dead.
Or does it? Joy's got some unrated
Ooh.
knowledge.
Bum
here.
bum bum.
There we go.
We all saw the end credit stinger, like the one at the very end
Groovy.
of Bruce Campbell as Ash silhouetted.
Wait a second. You're telling me he was
Goes-
in this movie and Hootie's
He
still
was
fucking
in-
complaining about it?
He says gravy. But yeah, I guess that was kind of seen as his stamp of approval, huh, Hootie?
It
about
was.
the movie?
It was. And he did. Him and Raimi both came out and said that they were fully behind this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully endorsed
He
it.
wasn't initially,
He was
like
not.
because they
They tried to make fucking Marlon Wayans, Ash
that, well,
Williams.
they didn't want he didn't want anyone else to play his character of Ash.
I don't blame him.
And once they came out and said, "Hey, we're not going to recast this character at all. It's going to be a totally independent cast," he was all for it.
What if we would have got like Chris Hemsworth playing Ash Williams? You know?
In the extended edition, there's actually a mid-credits scene. We continue to follow Mia as she stumbles along the road Eventually, she passes out from blood loss, and a man in a truck picks her up, and she's passed out in the truck, and they're on the way to the hospital. But surprise, surprise, she pops up awake. She may be possessed, but her eyes aren't green, so it's so fucking weird. Like, she's laying there, like, knocked out, and the camera zooms in on her face, and all of a sudden her eyes open.
So is she a deadite? Is she possessed? That's what you want.
Her eyes aren't green. Who fucking knows?
That's
like,
it.
It's such a weird mid-credit sting.
That is weird.
Yeah, give me the happy walking into the sunlight ending. I'll take that one.
Well, happy in the way that your entire family's dead.
And her tongue's fucked up. And she's missing a hand.
No. She has a supernatural ability to regrow skin, regrow her tongue, and all this fucking garbage. There's totally nothing wrong with her at the end of the movie. Aside
Except
from
for
her
the
leg,
hand.
where her hand's gone and her legs fucked up. But her tongue isn't fucked up and she's not burned or anything.
She was resurrected, man. She was dead. She's Jesus.
Maybe that connects it to the movie, though. Evil Dead Rise. Maybe that's going to be a connection thread in there somewhere. What piece of memorabilia are you fellas taking home from Evil Dead 2013?
I went with the electric knife. Just 'cause I feel like that's the most, for me, evocative image I had as far as my memories of it. And it's so fucking cool the way it's used. I've never owned one. Probably I could have some use for one, but this one was just a memory for me.
You talking about the turkey carver?
Yeah.
Why would you have... I never had one. Why would you fucking have one? You got an arm, don't you?
I guess you got a fucking ham or something you got to cut.
My father-in-law uses an electric cutter for the Thanksgiving turkey.
There you go, man.
Like, plug it
I
in.
think I saw them use one in Home Alone. Ever since I saw it in that movie, I always wanted one. So I'm going to go with the box cutter, but only after it was throat goated by Mia.
Endorsed.
It doesn't have David's neck blood
Yeah,
on
I
it.
don't want David's neck blood. I don't want damn Eric's ball juice or whatever she does. She like stabs him in the nuts with it or something. Just give me that fucking tongue, boy.
Now, the question, Joey, is would you want this box cutter from Evil Dead or Frank Bannister's box cutter from The
FB.
Frighteners?
Oh shit.
The FB
Fuck
is
me.
pretty fucking legendary.
But look, here's the thing. I ain't like Mia. I got two hands, bitch. I could use both of them.
dual-wielding fucking box cutter.
For me, I like that we all picked a different piece here. I'm going to go with this version of the Necronomicon just because it's beautiful. It's incredible. And I want to just leaf through it. Casually, of course.
What'd you pick for Evil Dead 2?
I think it was a chainsaw. I didn't pick that.
Oh,
Necronomicon.
shit. Yeah, I think I chose the Necronomicon.
I might go as far as to this version of the Necronomicon. It might be better.
Well,
I think it is. It's less
More to
campy.
it. Less campy.
It'd be a cooler prop in your house.
with shit, they had 30 plus years to improve it. I mean, of course, it's going to be a little bit better.
It's just a little bit of time.
I feel like one you put in your living room and one you put in your bathroom to read while you shit.
Yeah, you want the fun one in the bathroom.
You want to show off. You want to show off the good one for the company, so you put the newer one in the living room, and then the one that actually looks like they rub shit on the cover. You can just put that in the bathroom. You can't nobody fuck that
In
one
the
up.
bathroom, taking a shit, reading a book bound in flesh, just hanging out.
Now this will scare the shit out of you.
Tomato! Fucking squeezing out that goddamn double down.
Let's see, who wants to go first in their analysis of this film?
Evil Dead Retour. The movie has so many fantastic gore moments, and me being a gore whore, I was bricks, if you know what I mean. From a technical side, the makeup and effects department, they killed it. It's beautifully shot. Fede Alvarez really has a great eye behind the camera. You see that in Don't Breathe as well. The score is fantastically grim and leaves your heart pounding. Props to frequent Alvarez collaborator Roku Banos. Honestly, the production quality in general is top notch, including sound. I love how the movie is paced with almost no slowdown once the carnage begins. The characters that are victims of that carnage, however, are pretty weak and feel like demon fodder for the most part, except for Lou Taylor Pucci and Jane Levy, and her supernatural ability to regenerate skin and tongues. That bitch got lizard DNA. But seriously, her range in this movie is insane and really shows just how good of an actor she is. As well paced as the rest of the movie is. The ending kind of drags to a predictable conclusion. Also, are these deadites or extras from The Exorcist? They don't look like deadites at all. I understand wanting to make these deadites your own, but not to the point where they look like the antagonists from an entirely different horror franchise. My biggest grievance with Evil Dead is that it's so hard for me to differentiate it from every other member of the late 2000s, early 2010s horror remake bonanzas. It includes A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Amityville Horror, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Rob Zombie's Halloween, Carrie, Friday the 13th, 2013's Evil Dead. Like all these other films, they take timeless horror classics and make them palatable for the next generation. It's a prettier yet dumbed down version of the original Evil Dead, pasteurized for modern audiences. It's not a bad movie by any means, just an entertaining yet middling one. 2013's Evil Dead earns a C.
For me, the pacing, the acting, the effects, and the tone they're all there for this movie, which is kind of all you can really ask for, especially in a modern horror movie. The effects in particular are spot on and hold just as much weight a full decade later. Looking at You, As Above, So Below, which, believe it or not, came out a year after this. So, another lesson in effects, practical versus CGI. It's 2 movies in a row where I was legit interested in more than a single character's well-being. With The Burning, I just felt like they spent some time building characters, and with this one, they just had 2 stellar casting choices with Jane Levy and fellow who played Eric, forgetting his name now, but shout out to that guy. Mr. Alvarez knew what he wanted to do, and I think he gets it. Kind of like I alluded to before, these people who come in from foreign countries who view these classics that we've all seen and kind of seen rehashed and sequeled to death, kind of just has a fresh perspective on it. I think Sam made the right choice. This is exactly what Bruce mentioned in the behind-the-scenes clips I was watching. This is the OG, but with better acting and better effects, which is a quote from the man himself. Dug it then, I dig it now. Bring on the next one. This gets an A- from me. I feel like this is the best version of all those 2000s remakes Joyce highlighted in his review there.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely.
Do not discount Friday the 13th.
Still haven't seen that one, if I'm honest.
That fucking movie, it's good.
You didn't see that movie,
You were
Chris?
talking shit about it. I had a question here to end my review, too. Pound for pound, is this the best horror franchise?
It's the most consistent.
That's 4 movies that are all, I think, considered good. Does the TV show skew that or count towards that ratio, though?
I think it counts towards. I thought the TV show was great.
I think it's 4 for 4 for me, which I don't know if I could find another one that's made it through 4 movies without dropping the ball.
2013's Evil Dead reboot, or revamp, or whatever Joel wants to call it, was my pick for today's show, mostly due to the fact that I realized I may have judged it poorly back in 2013 during my first watch. After rewatching this film, my suspicions were correct, because this was, simply put, a great film. From the set design to the nostalgic callbacks and Mia herself, this film had everything you come to expect and love from an Evil Dead film. Did it have Bruce? No, which is why I hated it so much in 2013. But once you get past that missing aspect, you realize, damn, this is a worthy rewatch. I give Evil Dead, the 2013 version, an A-. Please go back and watch this film as I did.
All right, let's recap these audience score guesses. Mr. Hootie was abstaining as this was his choice. I, myself, went with an 80%. May have overshot the load there a bit. Mr. Joseph did a 60. Actual audience score is a 64. Congratulations, sir. Mr. Double Down, Mr. Sweet Tea, Mr. Taco Bell himself.
McDonald's sweet tea with a little bit of lemonade. Just poured in there a little bit. Just a splash.
Yeah.
So nice. So nice.
So we will look into a next film presented by Mr. Joseph and sponsored by Burger King.
Yeah, I'm ashamed it's taken us 45 plus episodes to review anything werewolf related. But all that changes in a couple of weeks when the boys at Horrible Film School howl at the moon with 1981's An American Werewolf in London.
I was hoping for Silver Bullet.
I was right there with. I was thinking, all right, this drunk ass motherfucker and Corey Haim, you know they damn gonna make magic. But let's go with the one that's considered like the Holy Grail.
Okay, let's do it.
And I feel like it's a blind spot for probably all of us.
It's me,
It is
for sure.
me, yeah. I was hoping you'd say An American Werewolf in Paris.
Fuck. God damn it. We didn't even get to the next episode before you started talking about that shit.
Yes. We watched the fuck out of that. That was one of those getting chubbed up when you're 10 years old kind of movies.
Oh, boy. When she whipped them damn werewolf titties out, she had 6 of them.
Alrighty, folks. We're going to hop on YouTube. Check out the official trailer for An American Werewolf in London from 1981. Let's go.
La 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 la. Isn't this fun? Lovely stroll on the moors.
I think I've seen this trailer a lot.
I like that font.
Did you hear that? I heard that.
I know that.
They're the same dude. They look exactly the same.
You think it's a dog? Nice doggy.
Holy shit.
Good boy.
What happened to them?
Well, the police report said they were attacked by
Fucking
an escaped
soundtrack
lunatic.
sounds goofy as hell.
Yeah, it's a fucking comedy.
My friend Jack was just here. Told me that I will become a monster in 2 days.
Your dead friend, Jack.
Yes.
Gotta believe me, David.
Believe what?
Whoa.
You're one of the undead, and I'm a werewolf.
Haircuts, man.
Tomorrow night's the full moon. You're gonna change.
A what?
You'll
It's
become
like Alfred from The
I
Burning.
know. A monster.
Oh,
A naked American man stole my balloon.
This kid's a garbage actor.
What did I do last night?
You don't remember?
supposed to have the best.
The last
Werewolf
remaining
transformation of all time.
werewolf must be
Just
destroyed.
like a legendary transformation.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. The trailer alone.
Good Lord.
Dude, this makes me want to watch the fucking American Werewolf in Paris.
Nice. I'm pretty
Cool.
excited.
You talk about shit CGI. Fucking American Werewolf in Paris.
Yeah, I know that.
Holy shit.
No doubt that shit did not age well. Well, all right, Hootie, it's between you and me guessing the score of Rotten Tomatoes on that bad boy.
Audience score of one of the most well-received horror films of all time. Gonna go 82.
I'm going to go 80. I'm going to repeat my last guess here. Alrighty, folks, thank you for listening. Check out the website, horriblefilmschool.com, to find links to all the podcast platforms, socials, all that good business. Give us a follow, leave a review, send us some bottles labeled as chainsaw gas. I'm going to say goodbye and offer my support to women kicking a dirty habit in the company of those you love.
And as always, if you're hearing our voices, tell at least one person you know. Spread the love, spread the campaign. And I'm going to go watch one of the most terrifying werewolf transformation in cinema history. I'm out.
Thanks for all the likes, the subs, the listens, the follows, the downloads. We really appreciate y'all's support as well as your time and attention. Be sure to join us next time when we devour 1981's An American Werewolf in London. Class dismissed.